And we are live. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the low budget live stream. As always, I am your host, the real Gino Reynolds. And today, we're going to be on the program. We're going to be talking about the end of Rocky Balboa, possibly, Daredevil, my furnace, Christmas shopping, and a few other things. Also, government wanting to investigate loot boxes. We got a few different things to talk about today. Um, and if I sound like Barry White right now, it's because on Monday when I got home, I was fine. And then I went to bed and woke up sounding like I ate frogs. So, and just to assure you that I do feel worse than I look. So we'll see how this live stream goes. Um, the unofficial uh, liquid courage this week since it's cold down in this basement. We're going to be having hot chocolate with a little bit of rum chata in there, and it's actually really tasty. So that'll be the unofficial alcoholic liquid courage sponsor. Zanzotan, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, we're gonna kick off the program here. We got a lot to talk about today. Uh, as always, if you have anything you want to talk about, definitely put it in the chat. Uh, Everything's fair game, but let's keep it civil, as I always like to say. But I will answer anything that I can. So it's nice to see that the stream is actually going this time. I'm hoping we don't have the problems we had last week or a couple weeks ago. Um, so here we go. The first thing I want to talk about, I read an article about Sylvester Stallone this week, and he said, and by the way, this there's going to be spoilers for Creed 2, and I'm not going to be doing any spoiler dodging for anything I talk about today. Um, Sylvester Stallone said that he is done playing Rocky after his stint as the character in Creed 2. Um, they did kind of wrap up his story, I guess you could say. Um, he didn't like die or anything, so I mean, he could come back. But hey, Zepzer, what's going on, bud? So they did wrap up his story, even though he can come back. He's not dead or anything. Um, his character, even after the Rocky Balboa movie, had a strained relationship with his son, and they do talk about it in this movie, and he does reconcile with his kid at the end of Creed 2, which is good. Um, and I believe it was over Instagram. Stallone had this to say. Desiree, how's it going? Um, Over Instagram, Stallone did have this to say. I believe it was Instagram. Quote: "I just want to thank everyone around the whole wide world for taking the Rocky family into their hearts for over 40 years. It's been my ultimate privilege to have been able to create and play this meaningful character. Though it breaks my heart, sadly, all things must pass and end. I love you, kind and generous people, and the most wonderful thing of all is that Rocky will never die because he lives on in you." So that pretty much sounds like, hey, I'm done with the character. I'm gonna call BS on that, but I'll get to that in a minute. Someone that doesn't think he's done is Michael B. Jordan, who plays Adonis Creed, the son of Apollo Creed, in these new movies. So he doesn't really think uh, that Stallone is done, and he had this to say. Quote: on the last day of filming, everyone gave their rap speech, and he segued into passing the torch to me, talking about Stallone to him. And I got really emotional really fast because I wasn't expecting it from him whatsoever. It's a character that he has played for 40 plus years, longer than I've been alive. It was pretty special. We'll see what happens with Creed 3. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. And he's not the only one that thought this. Dolph Lundgren has also been on record saying he thinks Stallone will return one more time. Um, when it comes to me and my thoughts on this, um, I think that when it comes to this character is such a staple um, in movie history, and the fact that he's still around and there's stories still being made about him, even though he's now a supporting character, excuse me, instead of the main character. Um, I think that this character to truly not be here anymore, Rocky has to pass away on screen for him to truly be gone. Ryan, what's going on? See, until I see Rocky pass, um, I don't think this series would work without him. I don't think you could just have him go away. I mean, he's so ingrained into Adonis, the character's life now, that even though they kind of had Adonis train with other people in this movie as well, um, and it would have been uh, his dad's old trainer son. I know that's hard to say. I just think that Rocky is still going to be ingrained. He just can't go away. Um, I don't think Rocky needs to die like trying to box like Apollo, or I don't think he needs to die like Mickey. I just think he needs to pass away peacefully. The way I saw Rocky passing away, um, they always had those scenes of him sitting at Adrian's grave, and in turn Polly, because his grave's there too. I've always seen him sitting in that chair and passing away in that chair. That's the way I've always seen it, just quietly, peacefully, and he'll say, "Yo, Adrian, I we did it," or "I'm coming home," or something to call back to Adrian, and then he passes. I don't think you can do that off screen. The fact that he's made up with his son in the movies, that's a good character arc. He beat cancer. I don't want to see him die of cancer. He should just die of old age. He doesn't need to die dramatically, other than I think it has to be at the graveside of Adrian. That's the only way I can see it happening. Do I think he's coming back? Yeah, I'm not sure where these movies are going to go. Um, Especially after Creed 2. I'm not saying there was a bunch of definitive things, but I think they're going to have to go in a new direction than the other movies did. It can't be about the legacy of Apollo anymore, following the legacy of Apollo. I think it has to be uh, that. I mean, and this is kind of what the movie was talking about. It's carving your own legacy. And I think that's where they need to go with it and come up with some new stories. You still have to finalize Rocky's story, but other than that, you can write a whole new chapter. There's the way I think they're going to go is I don't think they're going to bring back Dolph Lundgren's son again yet. I think he will come back. The way that story ended was very positive for uh, uh, Dolph Lundgren's son and his story versus the hate that was their story at the first of the movie. I think that the champion or that Adonis almost beat in the first one is going to challenge for the title in the next one. He's going to get out of prison and challenge for the title. Whether I don't think he's going to beat Adonis, but I think that'll kind of be where the third one goes, and I don't know where the fourth one will go, if even if they make a fourth one. But that's where I'm seeing that going. So if you have any thoughts on where you think the Rocky franchise is going to go, where you think it should go, definitely leave a comment in the chat section there. And again, if you have anything you want to talk about, definitely put it in the chat section, and we'll go over it as we're going along. Um, and hopefully we don't have the problems we had last time. So if you guys are having trouble seeing me or whatever, definitely put a message in the chat or anything, so that way I can calm my nerves and we can continue. Um, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and I don't have a lot of info on this, but it's government loot boxes. Or government investigating loot boxes. We all know that loot boxes suck. I've never had to deal with them. I'm still rocking a 360. I mean, I've had to deal with the uptick of DLC Um, and that was always a pain in the butt. There was a few DLCs I bought for a few games like WWE All Stars had extra characters and things like that, so I did those, and I hated myself for doing even doing that. Um, I just don't like DLC. I miss the days of where you could just buy the game and you get the game and you get to play the game and it's there. And then they come out with another game. Well, now everything's going to be microtransactions and DLC and all that different stuff. And that stuff just kind of bothers me. Um, that being said, as much as loot boxes suck and as much as I do think they are gambling, because think about it, you get these loot boxes, and this is just from what I followed from the Star Wars EA thing. Um, you get these loot boxes, and I don't know if you can pay for them, and it's just a chance to get what you want. I mean, they can they at